This is rubbish.
I was just thinking exactly the same about this. Well, this was boring me to death. It was like being stuck in a...
They both like the car.
...woman's novel.
But I'd rather that than being stuck in a telephone box with a panicking gorilla.
Rubbish.
It was trying to kill me.
I know,
It's trying to hurt me. It wants to hurt me.
Aren't Slider?
This battery's dead, but I'm gonna switch the batteries out after this camera dies. I'm gonna switch the batteries out again.
Razor blade in the hands of a surgeon, sickle in the hands of a drunk peasant.
Downton Abbey, Breaking Bad. That's crystal meth. That's some iffy weed.
Fine wine, weight of Nuki Brand.
Oh no, Stiggy's coming!
Absinthe.
James Bond, specifying his martini to be shaken, not stirred. Beggs being train spotting, lobbing a pint pot over his shoulder in a nightclub and starting a bar fight. What?
Stiggy! Nope, James.
Hi,
What are you doing here?
I am here because, gentlemen, I have in the back of that lorry something that will make your McLaren and your Porsche look like lumps of yesteryear.
What did you get? What did you get? Something crazy? I wonder what he got. A Ferrari. Well, you're in. Well, you're actually you're in Ferrari. Oh, so we got German, Italian, and we also got Ukraine, English.
I cannot remember the last time a car, or indeed any sort of thing, gave me a fizz like the Ferrari.
The Ferrari.
This has 950 horsepower, 950.
But the Kurtrum has more.
The other two, and it's lighter, it weighs 1,200.
The Kurgan seg has more power though. The Kurgan seg has more power though.
Hatchbacks. Actually, there is a bit more to the Ferrari, because what it has is, in effect, a Formula One curse system. It constantly recovers energy that would otherwise be lost using
The Ferrari.
its battery. So as I brake there, the car is actually saying, that energy, I'll have that. Straight. This is what 950 horsepower feels like. This, I believe, will absolutely mince the other two. Oh, man!
James was obviously talking nonsense. But there's no getting around the fact that these three cars take automotive science to a new level. They use the latest green technology to squeeze as much speed as possible from every molecule of fuel. As a result, they're all capable of blasting way past 200 miles an hour whilst producing fewer harmful emissions than a family saloon.
Really?
What we have here, then, are three incredible machines which, at a stroke, have made the traditional supercar look wooden and old-fashioned. Welcome, everyone, to the hypercar Holy Trinity. In that door mirror, I have a £1 million Porsche. In that door mirror, I have a £1 million Ferrari.
What a toy box today.
I'm going to do some videos. Today I'm going to make some videos on YouTube today. Today I'm going to make some money.
I don't think so, Hammond.
Today I'm going to make some videos. Then I'm going to do some B-stars.
This can be so expensive.
Today I'm going to be making some videos for YouTube, upload the videos to YouTube, and then that's it.
Was you right last month? And that gives me another 170 horsepower. Only DRS! Oh my God!
I wish I owned a YouTube. I wish my YouTube channel was doing pretty good. It's got 704 subscribers. If this recording's not that bad. Wish can meet X you in real life. Well, doesn't really matter. I'll work on that video I have to work on soon. But yeah, I gotta work on that Xenia video and I gotta work on that other video.
He's trying to kill me and I'm not even in it.
Yeah, make some videos on YouTube. That's it. How many videos you make?
Could have played out there all day, but before we ended up in a £3 million crash, we decided to start the tests to see which of the cars was best. I came up with the first one, mainly to annoy gatecrasher May. Let's make the first test a drag race using electrical power only.
Good idea.
No, it isn't a good idea.
Why not?
Because you can't drive the Ferrari on electrical power only.
No!
No, but of course you can't, because it's a Kerr system like a Formula One car. It's got a V12 engine and an electric motor, but they're all integrated. They work together all the time. You can't separate them.
You should have thought about that, shouldn't you?
Bad planning.
With James reduced to the role of onlooker, we lined up the P1 and the 918 on the start line. But then, instead of revving the petrol engines, we shut them down. That is weird. Preparing to start a drag race in complete silence.
They still have 2 electric motors that together produce 285 brake horsepower, which is 109 more than the 1 electric motor in his McLaren. Oh yeah.
This was weird. CC1. CC1.
Oh, I'm out of here!
You've got to love that. The immediate power from an electrical engine. That is 70 miles an hour already, and it isn't enough.
CC2. CC2.
Who won now? It was me, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's not important though, is it?
Is it not?
No, it's just not relevant.
Right, right. In a drag race, it's irrelevant which car gets there first.
Yeah, yours is the better milk float. Back in the pits, Hammond had an idea for the next test.
We've got to drive to the hotel, yeah?
Yeah.
It's about an hour away, and it gives us a chance to see what they're like on the road.
That's a good point.
Real world.
That is a good point.
I can't do that. I can't drive the Ferrari on the road.
Why?
Well, it's not registered.
It is, got number plates.
No, that's just pretend number plates. If they register it, it becomes second-hand and they have to pay the tax. That's why it came in a lorry.
So you can't drive it on the road, do you?
Nobody can drive it. It's not road legal.
Oh no!
Mate, that's...
Oh, that is such a shame.
It's an hour of...
Oh, sorry, James. That's really a bit a lot because you've come a long way from Italy. I can't give you a lift because there's like the soundman's headphones on the seat and the
Oh, no.
mixer. Turns out there's literally nothing I can do.
You're a stupid jerk. Get your fucking teeth fixed and you'll look fun. I could have bought one of those. I could have bought one of those the other day, but I didn't buy one. You're a fucking idiot, dude. Or lady, your name is. You're stupid. You need your teeth fixed. Get that fucking teeth problem fixed. They look proper.
Last year's car wash was $6,000. Let's do this.
CCX.
How close can we get to the sign? This is it. No, wait, they take this seriously. Hey, Crystal, what do we say if somebody doesn't want to buy?
Buy my brownies or I'll kill you.
Don't say that, Crystal.
CC10. CC10. CC6. CC6. How you're gonna make some money on YouTube tomorrow? Working, you're gonna make some money on YouTube. Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, our forever first lady.
I need to push that. I'm gonna push that pus. I can't believe I did what I did today. Push that pus ball.
Holy goodness, I'm sitting next to Michelle Obama.
You fall, you get up, you carry on.
CC7.
I'm here for the same reason you are, to get some of that light she's carrying.
You were stupid, Michelle. Ooh, I need to get some money around so I can buy me a pass. I'm gonna have lunch tomorrow. I'm gonna have lunch tomorrow.
Audible.
I don't know. I think you've been making money. Wait. I need no day you want to do it. CC9! I'm happy, right? CC9! CC10, right? Yep, CCX. Wait, that's a car. Oh, I need some Kurgensig for that. CCX? That's a Kurgensig model. CCX? That's how you're gonna be making some more videos, right? Ooh, after I'm gonna make these videos, I can do that too.
CCX. In here, but it's unbelievably comfortable. Because it uses electronics rather than traditional anti-roll bars, and that means there's no physical connection between the wheels. So if one goes over a bump, the others aren't affected. It's uncanny. It's like being in a Rolls-Royce Phantom.
CCX!
It's a lovely evening, taking the roof panels out, set the aircon just so, and I'm enjoying a drive in the country.
CCX! Maybe I'll make some popcorn or something later, I don't know. But I'm just making videos so I can have some fun to do. I'm in the car videos right now, having fun with the having fun with Cam5, giving Cam5 a workout today, which...
Meanwhile...
Oh, he's driving the lorry? I didn't know he knew how to drive a stick. He's driving a man... Or is that a man or a Scania lorry? I can't tell. First into second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7th, 8th, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18. If you're crawling gear, it's all the way over and up.
Oh, bloody hell.
Oh, yep, it's a man.
You're alright. You're alright in Italian.
Give him a... Oh, crap.
Oh, God.
Oh, cock. Oh, cock.
Say this, but that Ferrari is useless.
Yes. Later on in part 2, when these two have stopped dreaming up idiotic and irrelevant tests that it can't take part in, we shall see.
Fair enough. Now, at this point in the show, we like to sit down and chew the fat about new cars and motoring issues.
Like, for example, why in Britain we have to drive at 50 miles an hour when they're doing roadworks to protect the workforce, which is never there.
Yes, okay, it's...
And why fully grown adults are taken to riding around the city on children's toys.
Yes,
I think
okay.
they're called bicycles, is that the right word?
It's issues like that. It's a segment that we are calling Conversation Street.
I should learn sign language one of these days. Okay, so tomorrow, get on the bus at 12:25, at 12 and a quarter, and 4 and a quarter, you can go home before around 4.
Version of that sting for every single episode we're going to make for the next 3 years.
Yes.
How about that? The slight problem with that is that we were so busy doing that, we didn't actually think of anything to talk about in Conversation Street, did we?
We did.
Yeah. What?
Oh, you'll love this. James May, the world's slowest moving human being, has been caught speeding. officially charged by the police.
Criminal. That's what I would say. He's actually quite proud of it. He did it on a Honda CBR 600RR sports bike.
Yeah, oh, yeah, no, thing was,
Ooh, motorcycle.
Richard and I were genuinely astonished. When he came into the office and said I'd been done for speeding. We're like, what? And until we found out how fast he was going.
James? Yes. How fast was it again? 37 miles an hour. How did you even breathe at that kind of speed?
No, how did the police catch you? I mean, were they running?
Gentle jog, yeah, for sure.
The thing is, if you've been caught, because we genuinely don't believe anyone in the world has, but if you have been caught speeding at a speed less than 37, do honestly please write to us and let us know. We don't think it's possible. And mark your envelope, I'm a tortoise.
And that is all we have time for this week on Conversations.
Whoa, hang on a minute.
What?
What, you're saying the first ever show, you just mocked me for my speeding ticket and we move on?
Well, it's a busy show. It's a busy show.
It is a busy show.
It is.
Yes, we've got to tell everyone about our track. Yes, we have one.
Ooh.
This is the sort of place where you can drive cars at speeds that you can do on the road, but only if you want to go to prison afterwards.
What, like 38 miles an hour?
Well, 39, maybe even 40 from time to time. Now, we were hoping that we could bring it around the world with us, like the tent, but unfortunately it's too heavy. And as you're about to see, too bitey.
Where is it?
This is it. It's not a race circuit. It's not an airfield. It's not a road. What it is brilliant and fast and extremely dangerous. It even looks dangerous on a map because, as you can see, it's the exact same shape as the Ebola virus. Right, time now to show you what a lap looks like, and to do that, we've got a bit of a performance benchmark, a Ferrari 488. Take it away.
Take it away.
First up, it's the isn't straight, so called because it isn't straight. There's a super fast left followed by a super fast right. And if you make a mistake, there's no runoff area or armco. It's just woods. Woods that are full of wildlife, which likes to run out in front of you. After the second right on the isn't straight, we're into your name here corner. Sponsorship opportunities are available here. However, I should explain that it's possible nobody will be looking at your banner because this is a corner that was designed so a car can do this. Ladies and gentlemen, James isn't here today. That's just a friend of mine on his way back up the isn't straight towards Old Lady's house. We've called this section Old Lady's house because it's right next to a house where an old lady lives. She tells us she likes cars. Says she used to have one. Not sure she's going to like them quite so much after we've been here a few times. Next up, there's a narrow and bumpy sprint to substation. You need to get this 90 left right, or you'll crash into a cage full of electricity. And you'll need to get the final 90 left right as well, or you'll run into a field of sheep.
Adam's here. Yeah, I know, but thanks. I don't know what I'm doing here, but I don't care. I got work. I'm finishing up work. I got videos to upload to YouTube, and I got other things to do too. I got work to do.
So, trees, animals, a house, electricity, and because it's in England, usually quite a lot of moisture in the air. It really is the most dangerous track anywhere in the world. To post a fast time here, you do need those.
It's not a good idea for anybody to be out here alone.
Why are you helping me?
You read my path.
I'm not running. I'm not hiding. I'm here because I choose to be.
Yep, that's right there. No, I just put my hands up to the hole. Recording. I'm doing videos right now. Just being goofy. Anything else you need to do since you're already out?
No.
Okay.
Hi, we're Clean Cold, the fastest growing cold in America,
Okay.
not including CrossFit and Joanna Gaines. What's our secret? We're fanatical about clean, so you don't have to be. You don't have to change anything. You just ditch the plastic and buy our paper-based guys. Clean Cold doesn't keep secrets. I'm looking at you, Illuminati. Our ingredients are coconut-derived, biodegradable, and listed right on the labels. Do your cleaners do that?
No, they do not.
Clean Cold makes something for every room in your home.
I'm making videos for you guys so I don't have to worry about anything else. I'm also going to be doing some reading too. I gotta finish that book you read. Yeah, I gotta finish tonight, yeah.
The car I've selected for my first lap of the Ebola drome is this. The BMW M2. Sadly, there isn't the time in this, our first ever show, to do a full road test of this car, but there is time to say that I think this is the best M car BMW has ever made. In a lot of fast cars these days, you get all sorts of knobs and buttons which you can use to change the, well, I say change, I mean ruin the characteristics of the engine and the suspension and the steering and so on. And I always think, well, isn't that like a chef bringing a fish to your table and an oven and some butter and a bit of parsley? and saying cook it yourself. No, you cook it. It's what I'm paying for. This car, happily, has a more back-to-basics approach. In the M2, you get a little rocker switch down here, which does nothing at all, as far as I can see, and that's it. You're buying a car which was set up at the factory by engineers who know what they're doing. And all you have to do is enjoy it. Which I am doing. Yes, look at this. Oh yeah, loving that. Do that again, so make sure I was correct. Any understeer at all. And hold it there. I'll do that again. Only going the other way. Wrong way round, your name here. Klaus and Fritz, I am loving your work. Oh, I've made a mess of that. Yes, but I'll just do this and it'll look like a little tires begging for mercy, I got back onto the isn't and unleashed 365 rampaging horsepowers from the turbocharged 3-litre straight 6. This isn't as fast in a straight line as an M3, but everywhere else it is better. It feels less heavy, less cumbersome. Characteristics of our strength, I can tell the steering is less twitchy. This track was designed to trip cars up. There are fast corners, slow corners, drifty corners, and bumps. It's hard on the tyres, it's hard on the brakes, it's hard on the engine, it's point and squirt and bark and yelp. It is vicious. But there is nothing here which has flummoxed the M2. This thing is an absolute masterpiece. Like I said, it is the best M car BMW's ever made. You may think it's mad to suggest the cheapest M car is the best, but look at it this way. This track is a lot cheaper than Silverstone, and I know which one I'd rather drive round.
That zigzag at old lady's house, because that wasn't there when I went.
No, it wasn't there when you were there, but after you left, we discovered there's an unexploded Second World War bomb. Seriously, right where the track was, so we had to sort of go round it.
Let me get this right. At our track, there's trees, animals, moisture, electricity, a house, and an unexploded bomb.
Yeah. As I said, it's the most dangerous track in the world. Honestly, it makes Imola look like a duvet.
Yeah.
It really honestly does.
Anyway, all the cars that we test at the Ebola drone will do a timed lap. And to make sure it's a completely level playing field, they will all be driven by the same racing driver. Clever. You gave us some thought.
How clever is that? Now, thing is, Amazon, insisted that the racing driver in question should be from this side of the pond. So we went to something called NASCAR, and we found one, and we shipped him to England, and then we introduced him to the complicated procedure which involves turning right. He's called Mike Skinner, but we know him simply as the American.
We should warn you that some of his views are quite strong.
Yes, he has very specific views, for example, on cars that have engines with fewer than 8 cylinders.
Communist.
Yeah. Or more than 8 cylinders.
Communist.
Or cars that have their engine in the middle.
Communist.
Yeah.
Mike Skinner, though, wow, Mike Skinner's a classic, you know. He owns a team.
Communist. So let's see how he gets on with the M2. Right, there he is, looking utterly bewildered. And he's off a skitter of wheel spin, and immediately he's onto the isn't straight. There's a right there that'll have confused him. Now that's going to be good at that. Now he can open the taps.
3 liters, 6 cylinders. This thing wouldn't pull a greasy string out of a dog's ass.
With literally no idea what he's talking about.
Where I come from, this ain't a car. It's a cry for help.
Whatever. He's through the final corner on the isn't straight. Into your lane here. Hard on the brakes, grabbing the stick, which is on the left-hand side of where he's sitting, and turning in. See what I mean? No understeer at all.
Damn tracks and heroin in my driveway.
Yeah, that's because he doesn't have a monster truck on it.
I wonder which one of them came up with this thing. The tall one, the short one, or the one with the curly hair.
Okay, coming up to old lady's house. Hard on the brakes, turning in, round the unexploded bomb, and now opening the taps again. No turbo lag at all, as he hammers down the bumpy back straight towards substation. This is a 90 left, new tarmac, but it held it well. One more 90 left to go through field of sheep, and he's done it well, and across the line. Now, to make sure that the M2 wasn't on sort of the lapboard all by itself, we got the American to put some other benchmark cars, well, we call them benchmark cars, he calls them communists, around the track to see what's what. There they all are, look, McLaren, Audi, and so on and so forth.
Hang on a minute. We saw a Ferrari 488 at the track in the film earlier on. Why isn't that on there?
Because Ferrari wouldn't let us time it.
Wouldn't let us?
No.
So the Ferrari can't go on the road or run on electric only.
No.
And the 488 can't do a time lap.
Ferrari are quite tricky to deal with from time to time. Let's just put it that way and move on.
Yeah.
Because now it's time to see where the M2 goes on that board. Let's have a look. Let's put it on. Oh.
Wow!
It's
I think it's the best M car they've ever made. Oh my goodness!
look,
I prefer it to all the others that are quicker than it.
it's a bit. Yes, it's
It's the one you should have if you want one that's slower than all the other M cars.
It's only two. It's quicker than a Civic.
Yeah. If you had a choice of M cars, if you lined them all up and said, I'd like the fastest, it wouldn't be that one.
Shut up.
Better in every single way.
Stop saying that. I don't care what. Have you driven one? You know what? It's a fabulous car. You've driven one. It's a brilliant car. It really, honestly is.
It's a shame, really, that we can't take the track around the world with us, isn't it? Because if we did, we could invite some celebrities to drive around it, maybe. We could keep a score sheet of who was the fastest.
No, I don't like it. I don't like it.
No.
I don't think it would work.
Nobody wants to.
I'm not sure that they do. And anyway, we've got a better idea, okay, for our celebrities. We're calling it Celebrity Brain Crash, and we've had a sting made for that as well.
It's terrible.
Who is going to say, I'm going to watch that new Amazon car show, Henry VIII's head explode?
I want to know, why is there smoke coming out of Brad Pitt's head? What are we trying to say?
No, we're not.
No, we're not saying that.
Not that.
That is a terrible sting, but the machine itself isn't terrible at all. It's used to measure somebody's mental agility, their observational skills, and their ability to multitask. It's actually based on a machine that's used to test fighter pilots who want to join the Royal Air Force, which, as we all know, is the finest and greatest air force in the world. What do you mean, boo? What?
Hold on. You lot can grumble as much as you like, but we edit this show and we're British, so you'll just get cut out.
is better than the US Air Force. The Royal Air Force is better than all the other air forces in the world. Anyway, we're all now in agreement that the Royal Air Force is the best air force in the world. So we're all in agreement the Royal Air Force is quite good. That'll do, it's fine. So let's get back to...
Cookies! He turned into a pancake!
People spend more time on TikTok per day than Facebook, Snapchat,
No,
Instagram,
I don't.
YouTube.
The social media influencer market is a multi-billion
I'm
dollar...
on YouTube daily. I'm on YouTube more often than TikTok. I was always on YouTube more.
That knows a child way better than a parent would. What's different about TikTok is where is this data going?
I don't have to worry about it because I'm on YouTube more often than TikTok. TikTok sucks. I gotta do it real quick. I need to make money. I wish YouTube would start paying me.
Oh no, there's a bear in the house.
I'm having so much fun with you.
He talks? Maybe he's friendly. He knows so much, he's not just another plushie. He loves to play games. He has so much fun.
Woohoo!
Maybe he likes to fly? He's just magical. I think we're going to become best friends.
Very stupid.
Smart Teddy is a perfect gift for your kid.
I want to piss on. I want to piss on. I wish I could make a decent YouTube channel. Oh well. We got $1 here. I need $1 for quarters here, so I can buy that thing when I buy tomorrow. I'm going to go to the market tomorrow to buy me a pop. Yeah, I should, but she's working tomorrow. She won't be around. Yeah, you're right. Alright, what the hell? It's back. I'm gonna turn this to a. I wonder if people are gonna watch. I wonder if anyone's gonna watch these videos I make. 15 minutes. Anyone's going home or something you want to drink? Should we get some ice cream come for me? That'd be pretty smart. Stay home and ice cream. Tomorrow.
Naturally, this meant engaging launch control, which in the McLaren takes about a fortnight. I have to have the drivetrain in track mode, the aero package in sport mode, so that the rear end squats when I set off and gives me more traction. I have to have the DRS button pressed with my thumb to keep the rear wing open, which reduces drag, obviously.
Launch control, then the Porsche, left foot on brake, hard, right foot on the throttle, hard, light goes green, left foot off brake, bing!
Launch button pressed for 2 seconds, left foot on brake, right foot on throttle,
Press launch control, max the throttle, within 4 seconds release the brake.
3 seconds later, I have full boost and I have to set off then within 3 seconds or the entire system disengages. Since it was clear I'd got all my buttons wrong, the chaps agreed to another run. Set rep, the lights went green before the boost was ready, and I had the DRS button still pressed when I got to the end, which meant I had no downforce, which meant, well, poo came out. This time I'm going to do it with more drag, which will slow me down, but I will be able to stop without killing myself.
Curse system charged, right.
Boost building.
3, 2. And we are away. What a start! Porsche has got off to a flyer. Oh. 180, 190, 210. 230 kilometers an hour.
That wasn't very good.
Because James had somehow messed up that time, and because this test was about the cars, we decided to go again. It's a rocket ship. For England!
Okay, we have all three won this now.
Determined to find a definitive 1, 2, 3 finishing order, we ran again. Another totally different result there, gentlemen. And again.
That's a different result again.
And again. At this point, we decided to call a halt to proceedings because we had reached a scientific conclusion. It turns out that it doesn't really matter which car you buy, it all depends on your shoes. Now, this is a top loafer, slightly worn to give a crisper jump off the brake pedal, and it's immediate. Now, this is a Converse.
And I'm surprised there's more sponge in there than I thought.
See, Adidas, they weren't thinking that through. See, as you lift your foot up,
It's a millisecond.
I know you've got KERS, I know you've got a 6.3 litre V12, and I know that launch control system's amazing, but it's all let down by the sponginess of the Adidas shoes.
So they should sell you the car and the shoes.
No, more than that. Have you got the correct shoes and have you worn them in?
Exactly.
Fresh shoes,
Yeah.
lads. I need to just...
They need to be
We need to
run
skid
in.
about.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
With that sorted, it was time to bring in a racing driver to see which of our cars could do the fastest lap. Our resident American said he wasn't interested because all three cars are probably communist. So instead, we went for a Belgian chap who's done Formula 1 and Formula E, Jerome D'Ambrosio. Jerome took the cars out to get a sense of how they handled. interested to hear his professional opinion.
Alors, on va commencer par la Porsche, la plus facile à rouler. Voiture beaucoup plus assez neutre, beaucoup de grip dans les virages lents, une très très bonne motricité. On est directement très à l'aise, il faut un ou deux tours pour se mettre en confiance.
Ouais, c'est vrai.
Exactement. La Ferrari, c'est la voiture magnifique, une balance de voiture.
Okay, that's enough of that.
His demeanor just never changes. No coach has overseen more quarterfinals in the Champions League.
Yeah. YouTube. I want to make some more money. Can I have a penis? I want to have some sex. One of these days I'm going to have that. But so tomorrow, I got to do a couple things tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to be very, very busy tomorrow, which sucks. Well, it doesn't really matter, does it? I want to go to jail one of these days. I want to go to jail.
YouTube is the new home of NFL Sunday.
I'm going to jail maybe one time.
Sign up now and get $100 off. Watch all your favorite NFL teams' out-of-market Sunday afternoon games all season long exclusively on YouTube and YouTube TV. Sign up now.
What is cheese? Oh, the damn train! The damn train!
Asshole! I want to go to Canada these days.
Oh, the damn train! The damn train! DJ! What is cheese?
Today I show you how to drive a Trabant, because I haven't before and because it's a bit harder than you might think.
I wish I had more YouTube. I wish I had a proper YouTube channel.
I'll start with the absolute basics. The controls. Now, it won't be too surprising to you. It's set up most like any other modern car, like say a Civic or something. Because just like a Civic, down here to the right of the steering wheel, you have the fuel cutoff valve, labeled Z, A, and R. I have no idea what those abbreviations mean, but they stand for on, off, and reserve. Very simple. And also, just like a Civic, on the left of the steering wheel, you have the choke for the carburetor. Very basic stuff. Above the steering wheel, you have the speedometer in kilometers an hour, and that's the only gauge in the entire car. To the left of the speedometer, you have, in order, your unlabeled hazard light switch, your headlight switch, your hand windshield washer pump, just a little plunger that comes out, your windshield wiper switch. To the left of the steering column, you have your blinker stock, which does not auto-cancel, and if you pull it towards you, that's how you control your dim and brights, and if you push forward, it's the horn. Now, mounted on the right of the steering column is your column-mounted 4-speed gear selector. Now, it's totally unlabeled, which is confusing at times, but the gear pattern is as follows. Forward and down is first, up second, back towards you and down is third, and then up is fourth. Reverse is all the way forward and down, and down, and down. There we go. That's reverse. For me, the Trabant shift pattern is hard to remember, not just because it's unlabeled, and not just because I'm not used to it. It's also because I have this Saab that also has a 4-speed column-mounted shifter. The only problem is the shift pattern on this car, as it clearly demonstrates on this nice sticker on the dash, is the exact opposite of the Trabant. First is towards you and up, second is towards you and down, third is forward and up, and fourth is forward and down. The exact opposite of the Trabant. And reverse is you pull it towards you, pull out on the knob and down, and that's reverse. I get confused occasionally switching between these two cars. Next to the fuel cutoff switch is the heater controls, and that is every control in the cabin, all of them. There's something very important you need to know before driving a Trabant, because the Trabant is two-stroke. That means it has the biggest flaw of two-stroke engine, because in a two-stroke, the lubrication for the cylinders comes from the oil that's mixed into the gas, and yes, you have to pre-mix it. So that means no throttle equals no lubrication for the engine. So in situations where the engine is spinning at high RPMs but no throttle is applied, say like coasting, going down a hill, the engine is not getting properly lubricated, and this could lead to your engine going from an engine to a big greasy paperweight, like it's done here. Obviously, not having the ability to coast in gear would be unendingly annoying while driving a car, so there are three common solutions to this problem. The first solution is to use a 4-stroke engine. But that's boring. The first real solution is to use an oil injector on the engine block that pumps oil into the engine crankcase independent of throttle input based on engine RPMs. This also has the added benefit of no longer requiring pre-mixed fuel as the oil injector is pumping in oil for you. This solution is common on several 2-stroke Saabs, mostly the performance versions, the Monte Carlo spec engines. The Trabant does not have an oil injector. The second solution is called a freewheel device. A freewheel device in the transmission is a device that allows one-way transfer of torque. And when fit in the transmission, it means the wheels can spin faster than the engine. And it works much like a bicycle. So when the car is going up a hill, the engine power can be used to push the car up the hill, but once you're going down the hill, the engine can return to idle while the wheel still spins, allowing the engine to return to idle so it receives the proper amount of fuel and oil for the speed of the engine. Now the downside of this is that you have absolutely no engine braking. But hey, at least your engine won't turn itself into a giant greasy paperweight. That's pretty neat. A lot of 2-stroke cars use this solution. For instance, all 2-stroke Saabs have freewheeling transmissions. My Saab even has a freewheeling transmission, and it has a 4-stroke V4 engine. I mean, the freewheel device in mine is locked up, so it's basically a regular transmission at this point, but the idea is still there. The Trabant also has a freewheel device in the transmission, but there's one big caveat. The freewheel device in the Trabant's transmission is only on 4th gear. That means in gears 1, 2, and 3, you're either on the gas or you're in neutral. You can't coast in any gear other than 4th. Now you could just pop it in the clutch every time you want to coast rather than popping into neutral, but that's really hard on your throwout bearings. And you could just drive it like a normal car and coast in gear with the engine spinning up with no throttle input, and I'm sure that would last you a while, but you're taking your engine's life into your hands. You don't really want that on your conscience, do you? 4th gear, the magical gear, allows you to drive like a sane person. It allows you to drive like the car was designed properly. The Saab that I mentioned from earlier, yeah, its freewheel device is on every gear, makes sense. And it also has a little handle under the dash, allowing you to engage and disengage the freewheel device in case you want to drive with engine braking. In the case of my Saab, it has a 4-stroke, so engine braking is perfectly allowed. Or maybe if you have a 2-stroke car and you want to push start it, your starter's dead or something like that. It was designed well. Now with that tiny bit of information out of the way, it's time to start driving.
I'm Jimmy Dean, and you need something to kind of warm the whole body up and get it going.
Let me get that. Savannah, if you don't get your moisturized hands off my body wash.
And we should begin. Always remember your useless afterthought seatbelt that will totally save you in a crash. Absolutely. You're in a cotton box and this loosely strewn piece of fabric is going to save you. Now on a cold start, I always find it's necessary to use a good bit of starter fluid, but this car's warmed up, so just turn on the fuel, take off the handbrake clutch in, and start it up. I should mention before we get going, I've never been able to get this thing to idle right. It's my own fault. Put it in first gear, and take off. Now the blinkers don't cancel, but what's more annoying is that I need to clear up some grounds on it. It's a 6-volt system, and there's no indicator for me. Oh god, that's third. Start at first. First is over in an instant, go up to second. Second's over pretty quickly too. Up to third. No tachometer or anything, you just gotta go by the sound of the engine. There's a leak, that's the exact opposite of this thing. And up into 4th. And up into 4th. And up into 4th. Oh, there we go.
I wish I had a decent YouTube channel. I wish I could be a decent YouTuber. It doesn't really matter. I know I make crap for a living, but you know what though? At least I make a YouTube channel that does okay, right? I know I own a decent YouTube channel.
What would happen if every human being on Earth disappeared? This isn't the story of how we might vanish. It is the story of what happens to the world we leave behind. In this episode of Life After People, the leaders of man are gone.
The UN, the White House?
How will the White House fall? Who's really buried in Grant's tomb?
No one.
Why will Mao's body defy decay? And from this abandoned place, one of mankind's most powerful leaders unleashed the deadliest weapon in history. Welcome to Earth. Population 0.
The White House should be alright. The White House would survive. The White House would survive alright, I think. I mean, the White House would be fine. Come on, the White House would be fine.
Man's presidents, prime ministers, dictators,
Mao,
then kings are gone.
The Queen is passed.
Their worlds of extreme security and luxury. From the White House to the Forbidden City and the Palace at Versailles. Which of these powerful places will last the longest when there's no one to declare war on nature's advancing armies?
One day after people.
One day after people. The home of the most powerful man in the world stands unguarded. Originally known as the President's Palace or the President's House, Theodore Roosevelt made a long-standing nickname official in 1901 when he added the words White House to the presidential letterhead.
Okay.
The walls of this famous house will last for a very long time, but not their distinctive color. The walls are made from aqueous sandstone, a local rock prized for its toughness. It was quarried along a tributary of the nearby Potomac River and was also used to construct the U.S. Capitol.
The White House facade is not at all smooth. It is sandstone, and the sandstone is not white.
Hey, look at this channel.
Sandstone is naturally grayish. So why is the White House white? Legend has it that after the British set fire to the house during the War of 1812, it was painted white to cover up the burn marks. But in truth, soon after the walls were first completed in 1798, workers applied coats of lime-based whitewash to seal the rough stone. Later, white paint was applied as a more effective barrier against moisture. By the late 20th century, the sandstone walls were regularly repainted, each time requiring 570 gallons of white paint. If the walls are well protected, the windows are impenetrable. The Oval Office is fitted with bulletproof glass. It was first installed in 1941, after the hysteria following the attack on Pearl Harbor.
Oh, they triple fight it.
The bulletproof glass will keep nature out.
Yeah, the 9/11.
There is an intruder in the Oval Office.
The thing is, though, after 9/11, the glass got stronger. After 9/11, the glass got a whole lot stronger. As a person that knows history and stuff, after 9/11, the glass got replaced and became a lot more stronger than it was.
Bo, the president's dog, has crossed to the West Wing. He is the last in a long line of sometimes bizarre presidential pets, like Woodrow Wilson's sheep, Benjamin Harrison's goat, and William Howard Taft's cow. Bo is a Portuguese water dog, originally bred to work on fishing boats, diving for fish, retrieving broken nets, and guarding boats for their masters.
Portuguese water dogs are one of the oldest breed of domesticated dog, going back thousands of years. They are very confident and intelligent and can handle many different tasks.
Cute. Soon, Bo will have to leave the house and use his intelligence to survive. What dangers await this pampered pet on the streets of the nation's capital?
Another cool thing is such that animals be starving.
2 days after people. In New York City, the vast United Nations complex once welcomed leaders from almost 200 member countries. Their flags, arranged alphabetically from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe, still flutter along First Avenue.
Really?
The 39-story Secretariat Tower looms over the cavernous General Assembly building, where all 1,800 seats are now empty. In the UN's vast sub-basements, an eerie glow still filters through the hallways and offices. These glow-in-the-dark markers guided workers safely out of the building during the 2003 Northeast blackout that darkened New York City. They owe their glow to a substance called strontium oxide aluminate. Exposed to light, its electrons are pushed to a higher energy state. In the dark, they lose energy, giving it off in wavelengths of greenish-yellow light.
The emergency lighting basically takes its energy from...
Mommy's at the maggots now. From dead rise.
He wanted to catch up on growth, so we tried Pediasure, nutrition for growth and immune support.
Ours is set dogs, but my channel does work, I think, pretty good.
From the regular building lights. So after the regular building lights go off, you're still going to see an eerie glow.
But these markers can only glow for up to 20 hours. With no electric lights to recharge them, this vast labyrinth will soon join the rest of the city and the world in total darkness.
20 hours? Oh, that's not bad.
1 week after people, around the world, mankind's leaders remain embalmed
Lenin
and entombed. For one great communist leader, the recipe for immortality was a botched job.
Kept that thing on your
Few
face.
dared to oppose China's premier, Mao Zedong.
Mao needs to get the thing off his face.
Policies and execution orders are believed to have killed up to 70 million people. On September 9th, 1976, he died at the age of 82.
That's not bad.
Despite Mao's last wishes, calling for his body to be cremated, officials debated over what to do with his corpse.
Initially, Mao's body lay in state for a couple of weeks before they started to preserve it.
In the 1970s, embalming was rare in China. So the scientists charged with preserving Mao's corpse for posterity had to first do some research.
One of the things that the scientists read was that if you embalm the body with a large amount of formaldehyde solution, it would preserve the body indefinitely, or so they thought. Specifically, 16 liters of fluid into the system. They went a little further and infused 22 liters of fluid into the system, which was a complete disaster.
The mistake caused bloating and extensive skin damage. But somehow, they were still able to create a presentable corpse that could be viewed for decades in a quartz sarcophagus in Tiananmen Square.
They bring the body up from the basement every day for a few hours, no more than 4 hours. Sometimes they don't bring the body up at all.
Will the secret of Mao's body finally be revealed in A Life After People? Weeks after People. In Manhattan's Riverside Park, no one is buried in Grant's tomb. In fact, nobody ever was. The real answer to the classic riddle, who's buried in Grant's tomb, is that Ulysses S. Grant and his wife were both entombed here, above ground. So they are technically not buried at all. Ulysses S. Grant was once the most famous man in the world. So popular was the former Civil War general and U.S. president that in 1897, when his mausoleum was dedicated, more than 1 million people showed up.
Wow.
The body of General Grant took a tortured path to its final resting place. Like Chairman Mao, he was the victim of a botched embalming job.
Oh.
When Grant, a legendary chain smoker of cigars, died of throat cancer in 1885, it was hoped his body could be preserved to go on public tour.
The body lay in the refrigerated coffin for several weeks, and if it's not at least 37 to 39 degrees Fahrenheit, this wouldn't have preserved his body very well. The refrigeration that they used was actually an icebox.
When the public got its first look at Grant, they were horrified. The face was blackened with decay. What no one knew was that the general's face had begun to deteriorate before he died. The cancer blocked the blood circulation above his neck.
The embalmer did the best he could, but the face itself deteriorated more so than the rest of the body.
Now, his body rests in a granite sarcophagus inside the largest mausoleum in North America. Grant seems well protected, but an enemy force has the general surrounded. This nearly 200-year-old mansion in Virginia houses the groundbreaking inventions of one of America's greatest men. A great clock powered by descending cannonballs. A copying machine used to make duplicate documents. And even one of the first indoor toilets in American history. The home is Monticello, personally built and occupied by President Thomas Jefferson. Despite his opposition to slavery, many of Jefferson's own slaves helped to build his dream house. And it was built to last like no other home in America at the time.
It's extremely well made. It's all constructed out of brick, which is very unusual for this area. Most of the houses around here were made of wood, basically. One of the more innovative features of the house is this metal shingle roof.
The current shingles are 316 grade, a surgical grade of stainless steel. The roof was designed to include 13 skylights, a concept far ahead of its time.
CC1. CC1. CC2, CC3.
Oh, hell yeah.
CC11.
Across the world craze is back at Little Caesars.
Pizza, pizza.
Now, a potential gateway for destruction.
Skylights in any structure, whether it's old or new, do tend to leak fairly quickly as compared to the roof itself or even vertical windows. So those would be a particularly vulnerable area of this building.
CC12. I have 3 skylights in my house.
The author of the Declaration of Independence
Mama
is holding back Mother Nature's revolution. For now.
CC13. CC13.
And across the Atlantic, the famous mirrors of this legendary palace have killed before. What is their toxic secret?
They're made of mercury. Mercury. Hey, can I have kids?
1 month after people.
CC14.
The world's leaders are gone.
14.
New forces are looking to seize power.
CC14.
Just outside of Paris, France, the Palace of Versailles, with its spectacular gardens, sits untended.
CC-XV.
This is one of the most opulent homes built by any leader in history. The palace is 500,000 square feet, 10 times larger than the White House.
CC-16.
Its construction in the late 1600s nearly bankrupted the nation.
CC-16.
And it was here that the angry mobs of the French Revolution captured Marie Antoinette and her husband, King Louis XVI, taking them away to Paris and eventually the guillotine, overthrowing the French monarchy. In 1919, Versailles was one of the few places that could accommodate the hundreds of dignitaries that had descended on France to negotiate the treaty ending World War I. The peace agreement that would become known as the Treaty of Versailles was signed here in the palace's famous Hall of Mirrors. At more than 235 feet, the hall is longer than a 747, and it's lined along one wall with 367 mirrors. Most originally installed in 1684, each mirror contains a deadly ingredient.
CC-18.
Mercury. Every 10 square feet of mirror required more than 100 pounds of the toxic liquid metal. Inhalation of mercury vapors can cause inflammation of the lungs and respiratory failure, and in fact, actually killed some of the craftsmen who made the mirrors. Now, could this centuries-old poison determine the fate of the historic hall in A Life After People? One year after People, former President Thomas Jefferson's Monticello home continues to hold off nature's assault. Even the skylights are holding out, thanks to Jefferson's innovative design.
This is one of the main skylights over Jefferson's bedchamber. If you notice, the glass overlaps shingle fashion so that you have the course above overlapping that below it, shedding the water. It's been very effective. We don't really see any leakage at all occurring with these skylights, even in a blowing rain.
The skylights have proven effective at keeping out moisture for many years. But Jefferson's home might not be as strong as it appears. Unlike the opulent kings of France, Jefferson had to manage his budget carefully.
Jefferson was perennially short of funds. The problem with that is that he had to live off the cash flow of his farm.
Jefferson's money troubles forced him to come up with some creative construction techniques that might doom his treasured home. For 8 years, Bo, the former first dog, has survived on his own. Falling back on the survival skills of his ancestors, this Portuguese water dog has sought sustenance from the sea. First scavenging at the banks of the Potomac, he soon found his way to the nearby Chesapeake Bay.
Portuguese water dogs worked on fishing boats, and seafood was always a staple part of their diet. He could sniff out clams, other shellfish, or dead fish that washed up on the shore. It's very likely that if he could get south towards the Chesapeake, it would be an abundant food source for Bo to scavenge and survive on for his lifetime.
By turning to the food source of his ancestors, Bo has found a way to survive and thrive in a life after people. 20 years after people, the White House has returned to its original color, gray. Birds are the new unelected residents. The house itself is holding up well. Its future might have been more bleak if it wasn't for a renovation in the mid-20th century.
The wood had been rotting. People had been drilling through the beams to add conduit for pipes and electricity over time, and it was determined that it needed to be almost entirely reconstructed.
Now, when Truman was president, they actually had to move out of the White House because it was becoming actually dangerous.
As it turned out, leaving the White House set up an even more dangerous situation for the president. During the 4-year renovation, Truman lived across the street in Blair House, normally a guest house for visiting heads of state.
AAA trusts T-Mobile to be their exclusive.
So the White House was rotted out during Truman's term.
5G than anyone. T-Mobile helps keep AAA connected, so you're covered on the road.
On November 1st, 1950, 2 Puerto Rican nationalists tried to assassinate him there. A gunfight broke out on the steps, killing a White House policeman and one of the would-be assassins. Truman was unharmed. Completed in 1952, the renovations gave the White House a new 25-foot deep foundation supporting interior steel frame walls. The mansion's exterior walls have a less certain future. The local sandstone turned out to be not as tough as the original builders believed. In 1814, the White House was gutted in a fire set by British troops. The walls were still standing, but the workers sent in to repair the house discovered that moisture had been penetrating the stone for years, causing extensive damage. After that, marble and granite became the stones of choice for the capital's monumental buildings. Exposed to moisture over long periods of time, the surface of the sandstone White House walls can turn to mud. And that's exactly what's happening now, as the White House grounds are already returning to the watery wetlands they were before the first colonists arrived. 20 years after people, the places where mankind's leaders exercised their greatest power now conceal the greatest secrets, including one abandoned place in America with a surprising link to the most deadly weapon ever created by man. 20 years after people. The rusting buildings and splintered docks of this former naval base conceal a dark history. From here, at Hunter's Point in San Francisco Bay, the most fearsome weapon ever launched by one of mankind's leaders, set sail into world history. Home to 18,000 workers during World War II, this place was the point of departure for hundreds of warships heading to the Pacific. No mission was more important than the one that began here in the summer of 1945, when parts for the atomic bomb nicknamed Little Boy were delivered to the base.
July 16th, 1945, the cruiser Indianapolis was alongside this wharf. The components for Little Boy were loaded. 10 days later, she delivered the bomb, and it was shortly thereafter dropped on Hiroshima.
It was the first atomic bomb to be used as a weapon, killing an estimated 140,000 people. And along with a second bomb dropped on Nagasaki, it put an end to the war. Many of the buildings constructed on the base
they didn't hit it. They didn't blow us up.
are still standing.
They wouldn't try to kill us.
The mess hall, which once fed thousands of sailors and dock workers, is now a wreck of peeling lead-based paint.
Yeah, I'll do that in about 5 minutes. I'm gonna do that a little bit.
Decaying fixtures and corroding appliances.
This is one of the oldest structures on this base, constructed of wood, going through a lot of deterioration, but some of this is holding together fairly well at this point. But as we move across over here, we can see
Actually, I wouldn't mind doing that right now.
Severely deteriorated.
Yeah, why not?
Water and moisture have gotten in, caused rot of
I'll do it right now.
beam, and has actually fallen down on the sides of the column. And what's left is a piece of conduit that is really helping hold this thing together.
After the war, Hunters Point took on a newer and darker mission. It began in 1946, after the U.S. military conducted secret tests on the effects of nuclear blasts on warships out in the Pacific. The surviving ships from what was called Operation Crossroads were towed back to Hunters Point for decontamination. Workers sandblasted the hulls, unknowingly exposing themselves to dangerous levels of radiation and allowing radioactive paint scraps to fall into the bay. It was the beginning of a toxic saga at Hunters Point.
The knowledge gained from decontaminating the ship